Those of you that listen know, the Independent Man puts a lot into. I put a lot into the program, and my desire to bring you a good program usually overrides various grudges and or hatred I have for other members of the media and so forth. And this is like a perfect example. The sound you're going to hear is from a website that I'm sure no one is aware of, or most of the listeners. I'm going to say 99% of the listeners. It's from Rhode Island Future, and although my complete distaste for the complete liberal rag blog that it is, I will supersede that by the fact that the sound of Clay Pell and my desire and compelling interest in the Pell candidacy overrides any of that. So we will have to give it proper credit, which I just did, and will continue to do. But this is a raw interview, and it's good sound because it's long. It's uninterrupted. We're going to bring you the parts. Folks, we are getting close to the first real debate that we're going to be able to see. And what is tremendous with Clay Pell, as you're going to hear this, he is, in my opinion, no closer to being ready for these debates than he was, 3 months ago. It's still, how much better is it? It's still, maybe it's a new paint job and he's got a couple lines that he's trying to nail down, but he is still, in the end, he is still just Lieutenant Nitwit and will continue to be so. So let's pick it up. It's a 25-minute interview. We're obviously not going to play the whole thing. But the 22-minute mark, this is Bum Plane from RI Future with Clay Pell. And let's pick it up. He goes through the whole thing, and he doesn't question him on stuff. He just lets him ramble. But near the end, the questions start to, they want to fit in as much as they can. So you're going to want to hear this. I was laughing out loud listening to this. Someone sent me an email on it, and then I picked up on it. So let's hear it. Cool. And pick it up right around there. We're going to do a little stop and start. But this is Clay Pell. He's got some new good phrases in here, and boy, he is completely redundant. He just keeps coming back to the same talking points over and over. I'm going to not bore you with some of the details. I mean, it's hard to imagine someone running for governor and the major platform is internships for high school students. But that is the gift that he has given us. I can't wait to hear him say that on the stage at the PPAC at the Channel 12 debate coming up next month. I mean, I don't know what it says about me, how pathetic it is. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Pell on the PPAC stage for the debate. But I'm looking forward to more the next day when we can play the sound and all react to it. He has actually brought us a lot of joy. And I also want to mention, selfishly, as many of you know, my friends know, like my friend Robin, selfishly, I'm actually privately rooting for Clay Pell to become the next governor just on sheer entertainment value. Nothing on ability, nothing. I mean, he would completely put the state under, but just on sheer entertainment. If the time's going down, you might as well have a comedian at the steering wheel, and he would certainly bring us under. All right, cool. And let's pick it up. Cool, Keith. 22-minute mark. This is Clay Pell being interviewed for RI Future.
That's going to be the measure of success, and I think that's going to be the measure of how we build optimism and confidence in this state again. Because in the end, the motto, as well as I do, hope. Yeah. And the anchor of hope that I believe is still here. You just have to look outside, look where you are here to the beautiful space you have, look to the oceans, look to the people we have in the state to realize that we've got a lot going for us.
Stop the tape.
Build on
Already
it.
He's like a poet. Look to the ocean. Look outside. Look here. Look, Clarice. Look. He has to deliver that line. It's hope. I like Walsh probably told him, or Crowley, listen, when you say hope, you got to give it like hope. He sounds like a character. I was thinking there was some episode of Little House on the Prairie where I think they were lost. They were like, we can't give up hope. Rewind that cool one. I want to hear him deliver the state motto. This is Clay Pell. The state motto, hope. Let me hear that again.
Because in the end, the motto, as well as I do, hope.
Yeah. Hope.
And the anchor of hope.
Anchor.
That
look.
I believe is still here. You just have to look outside, look where you are to the beautiful space you have, look to the oceans, look to the people we have in the state to realize that we've got a lot going for us. Let's build on it. Let's connect people, and let's believe that you can make a difference in public service again, because I think that has been lost as well.
Well, right on. I know you have a busy night. I want to fire a couple really quick questions at you.
Right on, dude.
One is voter ID. If elected governor, will you pledge to repeal voter ID?
Listen to this.
Yes, I do not believe that we should have. I believe in democracy, and I believe that we need to have as many people involved as possible.
Stop the tape. I believe in democracy. You shouldn't have to show an ID when you're going to vote. Why? Because I believe in democracy. This is great. This is where he's obviously tired. He's total scatterbrain. He can't do an interview this long. He's trying to remember his memorized answer for this. You know what's amazing? He doesn't have a clue about jobs economy, but one of the things that Clay Pell wants to repeal is voter ID. Check the polls. It's like 90-10 for those that are in favor. Is it that much of a burden you have to show an ID when you go into the booth? All right, pick it up right from there, Cohen. This is Clay Pell again.
Have as many people involved as possible. That's what this country's all about. So absolutely.
Okay, absolutely. You will pledge to repeal the voter ID law as governor?
I believe that we should not have the voter ID law, and I will work toward that end.
All right, let's stop the tape. Cool. Right on. You know, what is this? Laughing? Sock it to me? Cool. This is like a progressive Democrat interview. Folks, do you realize how insulting this is? And also, I mean, he did serve in all seriousness in the Coast Guard. I mean, is this a complete joke? That's like a cornerstone. We're going to repeal voter ID. This is someone who's only voted like 50% of the time, and his wife, I think, has only voted in one presidential election. You know, a real interview would be, who are you to dictate to us? You've only voted in half the elections since you, quote, have been a resident on Rhode Island. Like, this is the cornerstone. Who listening to me right now? I know all the NEA Rhode Island is with him, and the nurses are with him. Who listening to Clay Pell? This is a cornerstone of his campaign. We're going to repeal voter ID. I'll tell you what. Why don't you actually win an election? Tell us about democracy. That's what democracy is. No, democracy is making sure that those are allowed to vote and register to vote and in their district to vote, that they get to vote. Democracy is that my vote counts and your vote counts. Why should our votes be canceled out? He doesn't cite any example. You know, this is embarrassing. This guy wants to be the governor. One of his first things, I'm going to repeal voter ID. Clay Pell, who barely, what did they track? He's voted in half the elections in the state because he was actually living in Washington, D.C. He's going to repeal voter ID. Why would be the question, because I believe in democracy. Do you have any concrete answers? I believe in democracy. Why would you want to repeal voter ID? I believe in freedom. Look to the ocean. Hope. I mean, all right, let it continue, Colin, because there's much. Wait till you hear. My favorite part is there's only certain questions that they actually prepped him on, and then others he just tries to fudge through because he's Lieutenant Nitwit. All right, let it continue.
Cool. What do you think about the estate tax?
Here we go.
I know that's kind of a hot one in the House this year.
This one they didn't practice.
What do you think of it?
Listen to his answer.
I think that it's an example of one specific tax that when we need to be looking in a very comprehensive way at what is competitive in this state. I am a Democrat, and at the national level, I support things like the Buffett rule. I believe that people who are making more should pay more.
At the state level, there's a lot of Democrats who are going to support a reduction in the estate tax this year. If you were in state government this year, where would you fall on that?
Stop the tape, Colin, right there. You know what's amazing, folks, and I want you to listen to this question. Again, this is Clay Pell. Think about it. He's put up $2 million of his own money. He's never really worked. I mean, the White House job, some family member got him that in the Coast Guard. As far as, he was in the service. But all of his money is inherited money. All of his money is inherited money. The question's being put to him about the estate tax, which is inheritance. And he doesn't have a solid answer on this. And it's very clear he doesn't have a solid answer on it. He's talking about paying more taxes. No, this is inheriting taxes, Clayboy. Inheriting money and then the high estate tax we have that is driving people out of the state. And why this is a pertinent question is it greatly would affect someone like him who inherited all his money. All right, let it continue. This is Clayboy clearly stuck on a question he doesn't have an answer for.
At the state level, there's a lot of Democrats who are going to support a reduction in the estate tax this year. If you were in state government this year, where would you fall on that? Would you support a reduction in the estate tax? Would you want it to stay as it is and thus revenue neutral on the Rhode Island budget?
I think that this is an example of just one tax, and talking about is how we're going to grow the economy of this state. Grow the economy of the state by making sure we have competitive schools. Grow the economy of the state by investing in sectors that are special to Rhode Island. Growing the economy of the state by making sure that everyone can participate.
What?
And tax policy, I think,
estate tax
should be fair, but I think that we miss the point when we think that somehow adjusting that tax or any tax is going to somehow be the most important part of our economic development strategy.
Stop the tape right there. We're going to come back. How can you say adjusting the tax would not address the issues of the state? One of the biggest problems are the taxes. That's what people complain about. Why do you think people go to Florida? Why do you think people go to the places in New England? How can he say that taxes are they're not a big part of the economy? It's a fundamental part. You can't separate the two. He is lights out clueless. All right, we're going to take a break. Wait till you hear. More to come. Clayboy Pell, 438-9776. I'm John DePietro.
You know, the motto is, well as I do, hope.
Hope.
And the anchor of hope that I believe is still here.
What is this, White House
just have
playing
to look
charades?
outside.
All right. Look to the ocean. Look outside. This is Clay Pell. Folks, good morning. It's John DePietro on this Wednesday. 438-9776. Toll free 1-800-321-WPRO. An interview he did on a left-wing progressive website, Rhode Island Future. All right, cool. And let's pick it up. Clayboy, unable, obviously, Walsh, Crowley and company, the unions, did not rehearse him. What do you say about the estate tax? Keep in mind, this is someone that has inherited all their wealth. Put up $2 million. Coming up a little bit, he says, oh, we're running a grassroots campaign. Grassroots? You put up $2 million of your own money. We're running a grassroots campaign, Clarice. All right, let's pick it up. Clayboy now. You can pick it up right at the estate tax, and then it goes on from there.
What am I forgetting to ask you about, Clay?
Oh, no. Back it up a little bit. Cool. And I think we went a little bit too far there.
Think about the estate tax.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of a hot one in the House this year. And what do you think of it?
I think that it's an example of one specific tax that when we need to be looking in a very comprehensive way at what is competitive in this state. I am a Democrat, and
yeah, we know
at the national level, I support things like the Buffett rule. I believe that people who are making more should pay more.
At the state level, there's a lot of Democrats who are going to support a reduction in the estate tax this year. If you were in state government this year, where would you fall on that? Would you support a reduction in the estate tax? Would you want it to stay as it is and thus revenue neutral on the Rhode Island budget?
Tell me to say?
I think that this is an example of just one tax, and what we need to be talking about is how we're going to grow the economy of this state. Grow the economy of the state by making sure we have competitive schools. Grow the economy of the state by investing in sectors that are special to Rhode Island. Growing the economy of the state by making sure that everyone can participate. And tax policy, I think, should be fair, but I think that we miss the point when we think that somehow adjusting that tax or any tax is going to somehow be the most important part of our economic development strategy.
What am I forgetting now?
All right, we'll come back. We'll save this because the end is still good. Folks, and there's a new Pell video in Spanish that I'm going to translate for you. It's all ahead. He's Clayboy Pell. We'll come back, this interview, 438-9776. I'm John DePietro. But right now, folks, we're going back. This is an interview Clay Pell did with the progressive left-wing blog site, Rhode Future. We're going to go back to in just a moment. But it's amazing. I mean, he has like nonsensical, just like gibberish answers. Oh, I was going to go to Gary. And instead, the one thing that he like has he doesn't have a coherent answer, but he has no answers for anything other than internships for high school students and repeal voter ID. All right, cool. And let's pick it up. Bum Plane asking Pell, is there anything I forgot to ask you or something like that? Let's pick it up. It's kind of like the end of the interview. Go ahead.
What am I forgetting to ask you about, Clay?
Well, I think that one of the most important issues in the state is how we're going to get people involved. I think it's really important that people get involved in this election, whoever you're voting for.
Well, right on.
This is a chance to for people who have too often been left out, who maybe cannot find a job, who have not been able to get the education that they deserve, who maybe are seniors and have not been able to retire securely. This is a chance for people to speak up and to make your voices heard. So the main thing I would do is to encourage people to speak up, vote September 9th, and definitely we would love to have you on our campaign. It's a grassroots team. We're having a lot of fun.
Stop the tape right there. Grassroots campaign. Did he actually just say that? That's Clay Pell. A grassroots campaign? He's put up $2 million of his own money. And that in his mind, that's a grassroots campaign. A grassroots campaign is usually there's no money. Work, starts getting done by just like volunteers. That is like a union-fed thing. See, the unions who have more money than anyone, they try to put off everything. Everything with them is a grassroots campaign. Everything is the that's what it's false. They don't even know what a grassroots effort is. Grassroots is there's no money, a bunch of volunteers get together, and then suddenly it just like takes off. You could even say, President Obama in 2008, that in many ways, he was up against Hillary in the primary. That was a grassroots effort. But when the candidate himself writes a check and puts up $2 million of his own money, that's not a grassroots campaign. What was Chafee, a grassroots campaign? Sheldon Whitehouse? Yeah, it's a grassroots effort. What are you talking about? Grassroots effort. Grassroots is code for there's no money. Right? When they want to get someone, we're trying to save a playground. Listen, we don't have a lot of money. It's kind of a grassroots effort. We're just kind of pulling together. That's what it means. There's no money. You put up $2 million of your own money, Clayboy. All right, let it continue right there, Cohen.
Definitely, we would love to have you on our campaign. It's a grassroots team. We're having a lot of fun. And check out our website, claypell.com. Sign up for our door knockers and our phone banks. We'd love to have you.
Phone banks.
Cool. So let's pretend this is my last question. It's September 9th. We've never met before, and I'm heading into the polls, and I say to you, I'm going to vote for Angel Taveras. What would be the sentence you would tell me to convince me otherwise?
Instead of this.
Well, I would just say that
hello,
I believe
I'm Clay.
That I can make a real difference in government. That we need to be looking much bigger, much bolder, much broader. We need someone who is going to really change how government works.
What?
This is an election that
you have like 5 seconds.
For the first time since Bruce Sunland, we will be electing a Democrat as governor. And I believe it's a chance that we elect a Democrat as governor.
Love that. Thank you very much, Clay. It was a pleasure to have you here today. I appreciate you coming down.
It's an honor to be here. Look forward to staying in touch.
Look forward to staying in touch. All right, that's Clayboy Pell. Folks, 438-9776. Toll free 1-800-321-WPRO. Cool, and can you pick it up at the 11-minute mark? I had marked off the 11-minute mark. It's a 25-minute interview. All right, let's pick it up at the 11-minute. Most of the interview folks, he doesn't say anything. He just says things like, I think we need to come together. I think we need broader ideas. I could write like his speech. I think we need to come together. I think we need to think bigger. I think we need to think bolder. I think we need to approach government like outside the box. I was chatting with someone at Starbucks the other day, and I just think we need to do things kind of different. And I think we need to look at it differently, and we need real a lot of different voices, and we need diversity, and we need to think big, and we need a new generation's value, and we need to think bolder. And what we need to do is bring everyone together and make sure everyone's working together for a bigger cause. That he doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything. He just says gibberish cliches. All right, let's hear the 11-minute mark. Go ahead, Coolin.
Nationally in education, and this is really connected to how we to the inequities we see in education. I said, I think that the quality of your education should not be on your zip code. Yep. And the long-term solution...
Does it in Rhode Island?
It does. Okay. There's no question that depending on your zip code, you're going to have better access to a different kind of education.
Stop the tape right there. That is completely ridiculous. All right, so the kids in Barrington do better than the kids in Central Falls. It all can't fall on the school system. Let's just say Barrington compared to Central Falls. These people are delusional. We can't spend any more money on education than we already do. It doesn't go towards education. It goes towards perks, and they just want to hire more people. It goes to the union. The zip code. Listen, let's just say Barrington. You have 2-parent homes. You have college-educated households where both parents are educated. You have more wealth. Everything can't fall under the school system. I'll defend the teachers in Central Falls. You could bring in Bill Gates and Einstein. This is not a Rhode Island thing. This is going on everywhere. This is a fact. Some part of this has to fall on the home. Whether it be Central Falls or parts of Providence, where you have 1-parent households or, poverty, or you have that they don't speak English as a first language, they are not going to perform as well as the kid from Barrington. That is just a fact, and that is not the fault of the school system. And Clay Pell is never going to change that or solve that. And that is a ridiculous thing to even entertain. The teachers are doing the best they can, be in South Providence or Central Falls. This business of the education shouldn't depend on the zip code. It has to do with who is in the home. And a 2-parent household where both parents are college educated, the child performs better. Period. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't solve everything. These children are getting a quality education. That is unfair. I can't believe the teachers are actually supporting him because it's an insult to them. Jeff in North Providence on WPRO with John DePietro. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Jeff.
Am I quoting the candidate correctly when he quotes the Buffett rule, earn more, pay more?
Yeah, he did say that.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Notice how he never mentioned a wealth tax.
No, and also he never used the word earn.
Right. How is it fair? He's always talking about fairness.
Yes.
Well, how is it fair that someone could inherit $10, $15 million and fund their own campaign and not pay any tax on that?
How's
that fair?
That's not fair, Jeff. And notice, it's same thing like Chafee. They never talk about taxing wealth. As you said, they talk about taxing how much you earn.
Right. All they want to do is tax the workers.
Tax the workers.
Yeah.
They don't want to tax the trust fund crowd.
No. Strange, isn't it?
Jeff, if someone writes a check for $2 million to their own campaign, do you consider that a grassroots campaign?
I don't think that's fair to the rest of the other candidates.
Yeah. Is that fair to Angel Tavares?
No.
He doesn't have $2 million, right? Is that fair to him? What is he talking about? That's grassroots. Jeff, what do you think when you hear Clay Pell? Do you want him giving this address as governor?
Actually, yes, I do.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me reverse that. All right, go ahead. You answer the question. I don't mean that he could win. I just mean, does he emote confidence and leadership abilities as a governor?
To me, he's a Governor Chafee twin.
Okay. I don't even think he's that, Jeff. I think I mean, at least say what you want about the Gump, but at least he had been in the Senate and had been a mayor. Cool, and pick it up from right there, Clayboy, again, with the education and the zip code. But he's coming up on something good. There's a reason I marked this at the 11-minute mark. Go ahead, Cool Keith.
And I think that is unjust. And I believe that the role of the state is to make sure that people and students across Rhode Island, not only people, but adults too, that all people have access to a high-quality education.
Oh, my God.
And this, for educational funding, to the extent that we are not supporting our cities and towns, that begins to lead to some of the inequities that concern you and that concern me.
Yeah. So years after a Clay Pell administration, when our economy is booming again,
listen to this.
What will be the driver of Rhode Island's economy? So I'm sure if I asked you what will be your big mark as governor, you're going to tell me, I will fix the economy. So what I'd like to know is, years later, what will Rhode Island's economy be known for after you fix it as governor?
Well, first of all, I believe that we have to raise the skill levels of our workforce. Yeah. And that's why I proposed the Hope Internship Program. That's why I proposed the Hope Scholars Program. That's why I have an educational policy that emphasizes career and technical pathways, so that Rhode Island is known for the high quality of our workforce, and the people are coming from around the world to start businesses here.
What?
Secondly, I think that we have to invest
the world
in some of the sectors of the economy that really just make a lot of sense for Rhode Island. For example, the maritime economy. This is something which we have
Stop
a natural
the tape just for a
asset.
moment. Did he say people are going to come from around the world to start a business here? We are not competitive in New England. Do you understand that? We have the highest unemployment in New England. Forget about the rest of the country. People around the world are going to come here to start a business because he's the governor. The question is not a bad one. All right, so you put all your plans in action. What will the state look like? You'd say, all right, I picture a state where people graduate and they can get jobs here, where business is booming downtown, people are living in the inner cities. You want to paint this rosy picture, the Norman Rockwell of what the Rhode Island will look like under you. He doesn't even see. This is another example. This question, he was never asked or practiced this question, so he doesn't know how to answer it. All he knows is his rehearsed answers. He is incapable of veering off the rehearsed answers that he already has. And when he gets a question like this, it's like, the high quality of life and good education and a safe community. We're kind of, everyone in the country wants to live there. There's good job, there's good universities, there's high quality of life. That's what I want to make. He doesn't even know how to answer the question, I should say. All right, 438, more with Clay Pell, 438-9776. But Playboy Pell, telling you folks, to me, he's very entertaining. I've just never seen a candidate like this. Can you imagine, saying to someone, what do you think is the top priority facing Rhode Island? He says, we need to improve education. Is there anyone listening that believes that? Spence in Smithfield on WPRO. Good morning, Spence.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Spence.
Or should I say good morning, Daddy-o?
Cool. Right on.
I can't figure out, am I living in Rhode Island or Haight-Ashbury?
Yeah, I know. That's what they would like it to be.
Well, I'm not sure where Clay Pell is coming from here. And I agree that education is a big deal, but education is something that you build on when you bring in businesses, when you bring in everybody else that actually puts money into the system. We are dealing with a system that is broke. So I don't understand where this guy is coming from. I'm totally confused, John.
Yeah, well, Spence, other than you have to keep in mind the campaign is being run by the head of the teachers union.
Well, it is a grassroots campaign.
Yeah, it's a grassroots, $2 million of his own money. But Spence, anyone you ask in the state, we could disagree on many things. The one thing everyone is agreement on is the economy. And yet you ask him, and it's, we need to do internships for high school students. It's ridiculous.
Well, and education inherently grows when businesses come into the state, and actually there's a lot of money that's involved when companies come in here and provide internships, provide money for the schools,
yes,
et cetera, et cetera. The government at this point in this state is so, quote, broke that we cannot fund the education system in this state any longer.
We can't. Spence, thank you for the call. Folks, a lot more.